Welcome everyone. Welcome to today's presentation on union experience put on by the Careers and Student Employment Service, as well as the Employability and Graduate Success team. Thank you all for coming today. I'm Tyree. I'm a Careers and Employment Advisor here at Macquarie.
And I'm Angela Powell. I'm a PACE and Employability Manager within the team. It's lovely to see you all here.
Testing. Okay. So we'll just start us off first. This is the title we're talking about today. Welcome to also anyone that's joining us via Zoom as well. We've got our colleague Sue Wallace who will be on Zoom monitoring chat. If anyone on Zoom cannot hear us, of course, let us know via the chat and we'll address that issue immediately. Acknowledgement of Country. I acknowledge the traditional owners of Macquarie University land, the Willamatical clan of the Durham Nation. We pay respects to the elders and knowledge holders who have and continue to nurture and continue to share their wisdom and knowledge, nurturing and sustaining our environments, cultures, and education. So on today's agenda, first of all, why do you need experience? And then we're going to talk about within that kind of experience, what work integrated learning is, and why that's important for your career. We're going to talk about opportunities within our Employability and Graduate Success team to gain experience while you're still studying. We'll also talk about other ways to gain experience throughout the university and throughout your community. We'll talk about ways to showcase your experience briefly on things like your resume, LinkedIn profile, and within interviews as well, and within networking. We'll also talk about briefly, to wrap up, what's next in the Employable U series. Just by the way, this session is being recorded on Echo 360. It'll be primarily Angela and myself who will be on the recording. Your voice will, if you happen to ask any question. It's just for you to review in future, as well as for any students that could not attend today to review as well. So first off, why do you need experience? Why are you here today learning about getting experience on top of a degree you're already doing? So employers want you. They are not interested, or they are interested, but not just interested in your WAM or GPA. Employers also want to know what else there is to you. And that's often gained through experience. We encourage students to start early. Start looking for opportunities to get involved in your career within the university, within your area of interest early. Getting involved will not only give you a rich experience, but will also give you the skills and exposure to the skills that employers want, and you'll have a great opportunity to try things before you decide to plunge into a certain career or pathway, and also get a chance to get experience and get a feel of what it's like to work in a certain field with a certain job title or what have you. And so remember that strong academics, as we said, are enough in today's workforce, quite competitive in terms of what employers are looking for. And employers, again, want to know what else there is to you, what else is beyond just the degree and the WAM. So we're going to talk now about different ways to gain this experience, insight into helping to form your career. So I'm not going to read them off one by one, but has anyone done any of the following? These are different ways to gain experience. Not just paid work, by the way. Paid work is valuable. Paid work is, one of the most ideal ways to gain experience, but it's not the only way. So just by raise of hands, has anyone done any of these other activities? Great, what have you done?
I'm currently doing my PACE unit and doing an internship over at CSIRO.
Great. What about yourself?
I'm doing the Global Leadership Program at the moment.
Oh, that's really good. Great program.
Fantastic.
Just
And what are
started.
you doing?
I used to work in Capgemini before starting my master's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Anyone else have any experience, any extra experience there? No? That's great, because we're here to show you how you can actually take advantage of all of those experiences and build up your CV and make yourself more attractive to employers.
Okay, great. So a big part of why we say to get involved early, we mentioned skills, of course, gaining employable skills, right? So this is a list of the employability skills that Macquarie University is underpinning across every degree here, and that you get a chance to practice and to implement while you're studying, whether it be through your academics, extracurricular activities, work integrated learning, other opportunities. And so many of these skills are also going to be the same skills that employers will be wanting as well. And you can, of course, hone them by getting involved on campus, and we'll talk about how to display them later on within your resume, within interviews, on your LinkedIn profile, etc. But one guaranteed way to build these skills is through the PACE program, which is part of what we're working in Integrated Learning here at Macquarie. I'll toss it over now to Angela, who'll talk more about PACE.
Thank you so much. PACE is my favourite subject. Okay, now you're very lucky to be at Macquarie University because as part of your studies, you will get the opportunity to engage in Work Integrated Learning Unit, and that unit is called your PACE unit. It usually occurs in your final year of study, so have a look at your study plan and identify what your PACE unit is. You might actually be able to do an elective PACE unit as well, so just have a look at your plan. All undergraduate degrees have a PACE unit, and I encourage you to investigate, as I said, what it is. Postgraduates also are encouraged to do a Work Integrated Learning Unit. Now, why do we make this an important part of the degree? We do that because there has been some very strong research which has proven that by including work experience in your degree, you will gain valuable employability skills and experience. And we know this because we actually have people researching the impact of this sort of engagement through universities. So if you take a look at this graph, you can see that 86% of undergraduates felt that their professional capabilities had been improved from doing their Work Integrated Learning Unit. You can also see that there are other benefits in that students have raised their awareness of the organisations that they can actually work with. Sometimes you might think that you can only work for one organisation with the skills you've got, but in fact there's a broad range. And another example of what a benefit is that we've actually proven that networking can also be improved through engaging in one of these units. And that might be networking by just sitting down in the team room and chatting to your supervisor or perhaps someone else in the organisation. But there's more evidence than that. And that is the anecdotal evidence that we get from our employers and also from our students. Our partners come back to us time and time again and say how much they have enjoyed working with our students who bring fresh eyes and new problem-solving skills to old problems. So it's a big benefit to our employers, and we do get a lot of employers actually using the program as a way of identifying talent for their grad programs or even for straight employment. And you can see some of those quotes there. Students also love it, and so many of them come to us and say it was the best thing that they did in their whole university program. Students gain valuable experience that they can then put on their resumes, which is what we're going to be talk about in interviews, and also put on LinkedIn profiles. So the benefits just go on and on. But there are a lot of other opportunities at Macquarie University through Employability and Graduate Success Team. And all of these things are available to you before you reach your third year, that is your PACE unit. So these are ways that you can build up towards your PACE. So within the Employability and Graduate Success Team, we have four teams that are here to really help you and guide you. Our careers team, of which Tyree is part of, are there to give you expert support, advice, and they can even give you personalised coaching. This is something that you really should be taking advantage of while you're here. They can also help you with your LinkedIn profile and also career planning. We have a student employment service, and they are a fabulous organisation in that they reach out to recruiters all across Sydney and even beyond. And of course, recruiters come to us. And what they do is they look for paid employment for our students. And that can be part-time, full-time. And what they do is they advertise those opportunities on our careers job board. So please, once you finish this session, hop onto Employability Connect and have a look at that jobs board. We have PACE, and I've already given you a brief outline on PACE, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon in your third year. And then there's also the Global Leadership Program. And this is a free, self-paced co-curriculum program, and it's designed to help you become a global citizen by giving you those sorts of experiences. Great idea to sign up for that early on in your degree as well, so you can build up that experience resume and your employability skills. And I think I'll hand over to Tyree.
Thanks, Angela. So within the Careers and Student Employment Service, we have quite a big online presence through Employability Connect, which is probably how many of you registered for today's session. So through Employability Connect, you can, of course, attend workshops like this one. You can also attend employer presentations, whether they be virtual or in person. You can get a look at if those employers are hiring and what their positions are and what they're looking for ahead of time so that you can prepare. You can also review our engagement resources featuring informational interviews and activities such as hackathons, case study competitions, and other activities and events to really enhance your employability. Again, not all of it has to be paid work. There is just as much value in co-curricular activities or in employer-led initiatives, because these are often the same ways that employers are trying to gather talent, and to suss talent is by having these exercises, these programs for you to take advantage of. You can also download our MindQ Career Zone app for 24/7 support. So let's say, for instance, it's Friday night at 11, you realize you have an interview coming up Monday morning, you can't book an appointment over the weekend. You can log into the app, look at our interviewing pages, look at our mock interviewing program, Interview 360, and be able to get assistance and some feedback on a video interview in that case. And also practice common questions you'll be asked during an interview. You can also, of course, search for paid employment on our jobs board, and also through the student employment service that Angela mentioned earlier. We have, at last check, at least 800 or so jobs, and then within those positions, there's a percentage that the student employment service also oversees. All of these employers are our employer partners that are eager and anxious to hire Macquarie University students. And then finally, you can sign up to some of our enrichment programs to enhance your employability and career preparedness, such as the Professional Development Program or our Skills Development Program. Both of these opportunities will be available again next semester. They close for now, but you can still have a look, have a read to see what the programs are about and offer. And then this page here on your screen is just the home page you'll see when you log into Employability Connect. You'll be able to see each individual tile for ourselves, student employment, PACE, and then other resources as well as coaching and consults so you want to talk to someone in person.
So that's another way of gaining experience. We still have more ways for you to gain experience during your time at the uni. We've already talked about the Global Leadership Program, but there are student societies and groups. Now, it could be a good idea for you to join one of these groups and become the president if you'd like a leadership role. Or maybe you'd like to be the treasurer, or even the person who organises events, the social secretary. So these are ways that you can also build your experience. And when you're doing these sorts of things, you might also like to think about your career plan and where you want to end up, because if you would like to work in finance, perhaps it's a good idea to become the treasurer. There are also other fantastic opportunities. The Macquarie University Incubator has programs as well for those who might have an entrepreneurial belt to them. And we also have off-campus. You can think about the things that you do as well. Maybe you volunteer for the SES or some other organisation. Remember to think about that when you put it on your CV. And there's also your part-time and casual work. Actually, at the moment, we have an on-campus volunteering opportunity, and that's with the Astronomical School, and they're running an astronomy night here. So if you'd like to volunteer for that, please have a look on our website, and you can put your name down there, and all of a sudden you've got some teamwork that you've done. So please have a look at that.
anyone done any of the opportunities mentioned on the previous page around, I'll just go back one, just out of curiosity? Great, well now you have an idea of what else you can do going forward throughout your journey here at Macquarie. So there's also ways to do more self-paced or self-driven opportunities to engage and to volunteer through virtual internships or experiences online, such as websites like The Forge, which offer virtual experiences. So let's say, for instance, you're interested in working for IBM. You want to find out what it's like to work as a business analyst or a business consultant with IBM. You can hop on The Forge and they may have a virtual experience with IBM that covers that particular area. I'm just making this example up, so we'll pretend like they do. And these are self-paced modules. You can complete them anytime within maybe 3 to 8 hours. They're free. So oftentimes you can do them over the break or over the weekend, just do one at a time. And at the end of it, you get a real experience into what it's like to work within that particular field. You also get a look at what someone who does work in that field professionally has done to solve that case study or that issue. Oftentimes these virtual experiences are case studies or are very short-term projects that may have 1 or 2 parts of them, something again you can do in an afternoon. Besides The Forge, there's also the MQ Careers Directory, which also offers these opportunities as well. Again, from many of the Australia's top companies, as well as global companies as well that have offices in Australia. There's also micro-credentialing. Have you ever used LinkedIn Learning before? No? It's free of charge to you now. When you graduate, there'll be a price tag to use it, but right now it's free of charge to every university student at Macquarie. LinkedIn Learning teaches you about anything through a video module or a video exercise that has to do with your employability or your career. Anything from how do I network, to how do I write a resume, to what is a elevator pitch and how do I do it, to how do I make a great first impression, or how do I use SQL or Adobe or Photoshop, what have you. So it covers the technical and the non-technical areas quite well, and is at the end of it, you're given a badge. And you can put this badge on your LinkedIn profile as well to kind of showcase or solidify, really legitimize what you've done in regards to that particular piece of learning. Employers, of course, will see this as well, and it's a great way to market your skills and your abilities and what you're doing to get yourself prepared for your career aside from just studies, right? Because we already said that your university degree and the WAM is great, but it's not enough, right? Employers want more. There's also other websites like Coursera. You can find out what other alumni have done with your similar degree through the alumni page on LinkedIn that Macquarie has as well. And then finally, there's the Study Australia Industry Experience Projects. Now these are a bit more specialized in that they're put up by Study Australia to get international as well as domestic students involved in different projects or different short case studies with existing employers in Australia or globally. It has primarily a virtual component, but you do also have a collaborative component where you'll be working with other students throughout Sydney as well. Even in some cases throughout Australia, because it is a national program. So it's a great way to gain further experience. And aside from the Industry Experience Project, Study Australia also offers a number of other opportunities that you can look at, including modules on their website as well. Has anyone done any of these on this page? Cool, which ones?
Coursera.
What's that?
Coursera.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Okay, yeah. How'd you find, which course did you do on Coursera?
Strategic management.
Right, and how'd you find it?
Coursera is like pretty known in my home country. I actually did a course offered by Macquarie University itself.
Oh, great, okay, so it was through your course.
Yeah.
Attached to your course. Great, that's a good point. So there'll be some Coursera courses, as well as some Forge virtual experiences, and depending on your faculty and degree, you may be doing as part of that unit anyway. So you'll come across these opportunities sometimes, whether or not you did it on purpose. So, but again, great ways to gain experience as well.
Okay, so with all of this experience that you're getting doing these part-time jobs, volunteering work, potentially paid work, what you're really doing is building your skills. And those are the skills that employers want. So we put a bit of a guide up here, and you can see that critical thinking, leadership skills, organisation skills, of course, teamwork, problem solving. All of those skills, too many for me to go through now, are what employers are looking for. So, for example, you could build your leadership skills by becoming the president of a student group, for example. Or you could build your team skills by being in a team of volunteers. And you can speak to that. And we'll show you how to do that later on. The idea is that you can capture these experiences in your resume and you put them on your LinkedIn profile, and they then become part of your professional brand. And when Tyree's saying that employers are after more than just your WAM, they're looking for what it is you're interested in as well. They want to see you as a whole person. So volunteering for something that's also outside of your discipline area is also brand building. It sets you apart. And these sorts of opportunities that we're giving you here at Macquarie and also beyond are ways that you can set yourself apart from others. Also, there is a recorded workshop on employability skills available on Professional Brand, and that'll be there next week for you guys to have a look at if you would like to.
Right, so if you want to know more about how to develop these skills, more about what they are, come to that workshop. Those skills are also going to form part of your professional brand coming out of Macquarie, and so we have a separate workshop on what is a professional brand, how to build one next week as well. So all this information will kind of culminate with different workshops to take you to that next step.
So career planning is also very important. And as you can see, there is a lot that you can do here at Macquarie and also co-curricular and also outside of Macquarie. And you cannot do all of this. So what you need to do is plan your career journey. And the sooner you do that, the better, because the sooner you do that, you'll be able to pick which opportunities are the ones that you would like to do. The best way to start your career planning is to book an appointment with a careers advisor.
Absolutely.
For example, Tyree, and he can help you to discuss what it is you would like to do. He'll discuss what it is you already do, and he can help you to develop that plan and show you the steps that could be required to get to the place that you want to go to. So don't forget the micro-credentials, as Tyree just mentioned, and keep looking for other opportunities and see how you go.
We also have a workshop this Friday as well, because to help you out further with career planning. It's going to be online, and so you can log in for a look at what is career planning, how to do it, what you should consider in developing your career plan, and so that way you come out of this week with a better idea of, okay, these are the experiences I need, and here's how they weave into my career plan. Here's why they're important for me to get.
Okay, so the key points for you are that employers greatly value a variety of experiences. Work integrated learning with PACE is a great way to get experience in your chosen discipline that you're studying at Macquarie. And you should consider what employability skills you are using. So remember that diagram with the 14 skills. And you should also look at what perhaps you're missing, so that you might want to choose an experience that actually builds your leadership skills if you're not doing enough in that area and yet you see yourself as a leader. So all of these elements and experiences are going to help you to map out your career plan. So just have a look and see what you want to do next.
Great. Any questions so far? I've done a lot of talking, but wanted to hear if you needed any clarity or anything, or any questions. That includes, of course, online as well.
For micro-credentials, we have to pay for that courses? Or it's like this type of workshop is free?
Great question. No. So when we say micro-credentials, things like LinkedIn Learning could count as micro-credential, depending on which module you're doing. Coursera, if it's a part of your course, you've already paid for it essentially. There are some Coursera courses that are free to Macquarie students because of arrangements made. There are other Coursera courses you will have to pay for. But we say first, look around you, look at LinkedIn Learning, look at the Coursera courses that are free. There are other websites as well that offer micro-credentialing that we didn't mention because it's just too much information. But look for what's free first, basically, before you decide to pay. And then that way you can see if it's worth paying the additional money for it, depending on what the credential or the opportunity is. But again, LinkedIn Learning is free while you're a student. And Coursera, certain courses are also free while you're a student. The Forage is free as well. I think no one ever pays for it. It's companies that pay for it. So you have a lot of free resources at your fingertips already. Well, good question, though.
Any other questions?
Great. So now I'm going to talk about how to present all this information you've done, these experiences you've gained to employers. What should you say and why, where should you say it, how should you say it? We'll go over this briefly. But you can showcase your experience to employers in 4 main ways. Resumes, interviews, on your LinkedIn profiles, or whatever other online portfolio you use, as well as, of course, networking, face-to-face or virtual. So on resumes, this is a sample of a resume from a current Macquarie student. And you can see here on the experience section on the screen how they've really delved into what they did within each essentially experience. Now what's interesting about this particular part of the resume is that there's really only one job that was actually paid. The other 3 jobs, the Amazon Web Services, the Virtual Ideation Challenge, and the marketing officer for Macquarie Orbital, because that's a student organization, a student-led engineering group, I'm assuming that's also volunteer as well. So you can see how adding other experiences other than paid work can really help enrich and expand your experience and really expand what you're able to do. So as a marketing officer, they were able to greatly enhance their time management, creativity, and organizational skills with scheduling events, running presentations, posting on social media, and producing marketing material. So you can see here how they've really broken down what they did as part of that leadership position that Angela mentioned earlier within a student society. So you can see here that there's plenty of value in getting involved in more than just paid work. Paid work's great, but it doesn't have to be your end-all and be-all. You can see here on the other side for key skills, this is a place you can also pull out and really show employers straight away what your key skills that are needed, especially if employers are saying, these are my must-haves. You must be able to use Java or Python or JavaScript, etc. You can draw that out quite directly in your resume. So that's the way that you can showcase these key skills and these key experiences on a written resume. Great. So for LinkedIn, similar in many ways to your resume, you can write about your employability skills in your employment section. This is where you can include, again, all part-time, casual roles, and other professional experience you have. You can also summarize your key roles, and you also want to include, of course, those employability skills, your contributions and achievements. As you can see here in this sample, the first bullet point here says, as a co-founder and founding board director of this particular organization, that the student ensured good governance by effectively managing the operational planning, organizational structure, and coordination of the organization's 50 active team members across Australia and Southeast Asia. So you can see here how they've, again, drawn out what they've been able to do as part of that engagement, or that, essentially in this case, that student group that they co-founded, and what they're able to bring out of that experience to then bring to an employer. So it's important to really use clear, short phrases where you can, but go into a bit of detail as to what you did, so that employers can again see how your skills and what you did with that particular opportunity relates to their job. You can also use, it's not pictured here, but media, pictures, websites, videos where possible, to really add depth, to add visuals to that explanation as well. This is what you can do on LinkedIn to help enhance that experience section, to really make it more dynamic for employers. You can also, toward the bottom of your LinkedIn profile, seek endorsements for skills you already have as well. A great way to figure out which skills should I consider endorsement for is to look at your preferred industry and consider your relevant skills that you need in addition to your employability skills that Macquarie has. A great way to look at preferred industries is just look at job vacancies. Look at job openings and see what the entry-level job is asking for, and then see what you have up to that entry-level job and what you're missing. You can also include other technical skills, such as software, languages, and other computing abilities. And you can endorse others and hope they reciprocate by endorsing you. So you can see here this student was endorsed by the leadership skills by 26 different people, as well as psychology as for a general, piece of academic knowledge by 19 people. While these are great, what's even better is, and this is, you can be quality over quantity. You can also ask for written recommendations from people that you've worked with, volunteered with. Perhaps if you did a PACE unit and it was maybe more of you had a supervisor, perhaps your supervisor could write a recommendation for you. Or if you've done a part-time Java course or volunteering, anyone that supervised you or worked alongside you can provide a written recommendation. So you can see here, I provided a recommendation to a student that I worked with last year as part of Incubator. And this will come up at the bottom of your LinkedIn profile, and employers can click to expand and then read what the recommendation had to say about you. This really adds legitimacy, as well as, of course, it's impressive, right? When people are able to back up what you're saying about yourself on your LinkedIn profile. Any questions so far about any of that? Okay. I want to touch briefly on, Angela will touch briefly on interviews.
And you can help me out too, Tyreek.
Sure.
So, yes, so we just wanted to give you a little bit of information about going to a job interview as well. At the interviews, employers are going to really want to see evidence of your skills from you. So having a good amount of varied stories about the sort of work that you've done and the skills that you've built up is really imperative. And that's also why you need experience. And you need to go out and get those experiences as we've sort of outlined. So one of the best methods that we have to actually show employers our skill set is to use the STAR method. And this is a great way, it's a little formula for you to write down and remember. So when you get asked the question, what did you do when it all went wrong? What you will do is you will outline the situation. What happened was one of my team members got sick and we didn't know what to do. The task, well, we needed to see who else could step up. The action, the leader went out to the group and said, hey, I need someone to step up. One of the team members is not feeling well. And then you can tell the result to the employer. One of my team members stepped up and we were actually able to deliver the project on time. So you can see you've built a story there. And you can see that we've also given you a bit of an idea of how much time to speak on each of those sections. So it's only 20% that you tell them the problem. Don't get bogged down in that. What they really want to find out is the action. What did you do to help solve the problem? And then they'd love to hear the result as well. And actually this plan is very useful for when you've done your PACE activity. With your PACE activity, you'll be given a real life project or problem to work on with your employer, and you can speak to that using the STAR method in your interviews. But there will be other examples when you're doing volunteer work as well, or paid work, or casual work, whatever it is you choose to do.
And guess what? There's a workshop for this too. So if you need interviewing assistance, or if you find interviews intimidating, you can come to our next workshop on preparing for interviews. In general, 3 to 4 star stories are enough. Many of those stories can cover more than one skill or give more than one type of example as to what you did. So maybe that time that you were at your store and the power went out and you had to do everything manually, that can cover all 3 different skills: crisis management, teamwork, taking initiative, leadership, etc. So when preparing for interviews, just keep in mind, I'll need about 3 to 4 good, strong, detailed stories, and that can answer many questions that the employer will have. So for networking. So we're talking here primarily around face-to-face networking in this example, but the same can still apply for video networking as well. So what we did here is we took a particular part of networking, which is at the very beginning, when we talk about where you introduce yourself, essentially. This is often called an elevator pitch. Has anyone ever heard of this concept before? Not quite. Very self-explanatory. You're on an elevator, and you come across someone who's influential, that can help you with your career, and that's a great person to network with. And you've got around 60 seconds at best to introduce yourself to that person and to start a conversation. So the 4 parts here on the screen is a great framework to use. Who are you, first of all? What's your name is, right? What is your name? What do you do? So what do you study? Where do you work? Where do you intern? What are you currently doing? What are your unique selling points? What have you done that you're particularly proud of, or that you think is worth starting a conversation about that the employer or the person will be interested in? Or what's your value to the person in front of you? So what can you bring or talk about to them that they'll find interesting? Of course, this is easier when you actually know that person, or know a bit about their background, right? And then, what are your goals that align to the person, to the company, to the industry, and how can you engage them within your goals? And so, pitching yourself does take practice, but luckily, we do have an elevator pitch builder on that same app I told you about earlier, MQ Career Zone, where you can actually go in, you'll see a page like this, and you can practice your elevator pitch. And you can also develop it essentially from scratch. What I've got now is actually a great video that kind of culminates what we've been talking about so far. It's from PwC, and it talks about perfecting your elevator pitch. So I'll go ahead and play it now for you.
Hi, my name is James, and I'm a finance major.
Hi, my name is James and I'm a finance major.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I'm a business major.
Hi, I'm Joe and I'm an accounting major. Hi, I'm Joe and I'm an accounting major.
I'm it. And so I'm the oldest out of 5 kids. I'm the president of the Organization of African Students. My leadership experience has prepared me for my career. I have been the residence assistant for 3 consecutive years, the head teller at my local bank. Also, I have been the president of the Organization of African Students. I have volunteered a lot of time at my local church. And lastly, I'm the oldest out of 5 kids. I can handle anything.
Hi, I'm Pat. I'm an accounting and philosophy major. I didn't really love accounting, but I fell in love with philosophy when I first got to school. And I also was very into my intramural hockey team. Hi, my name is Pat. I'm an accounting and philosophy major. And you might be asking yourself, well, that's a strange combination. But what I loved about it was that I used my creativity in my philosophy major, and I got a great management experience in my accounting. I think this is going to be a great mix for when I start the business world.
Majoring in business, I got to take a lot of different classes. I studied accounting, I had finance, IT, there were statistics, marketing too. But I also took classes in art history and English because I wanted to have a well-rounded education. I didn't want to be too narrow. So I did that. I did a lot of stuff outside of the class too. I played some intramural volleyball, which was really fun. I'm a business major, but I've also taken a lot of liberal arts classes to round out my education. In addition to my studies, I've been a peer mentor to a younger classmate, as well as played on the intramural volleyball team. While they may seem like different activities, they both helped me with my communication skills as well as my team building.
So, you like me?
Thank you. Appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed watching my videos as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for your time.
So you can see how important it is to think about what you've done and then prepare to have that conversation with an employer, with anyone of influence who can assist you. So just key points, we talked about how to market yourself on all fronts that are relevant, at least at this point: resume, LinkedIn, interviews, and within networking.
And we have shown you how to use written recommendations and endorsements on LinkedIn.
And we've also talked about how to introduce these experiences for effective networking. And hopefully that video kind of brought it all together a bit in terms of what the finished, now I'm ready to talk about a product would look like. Any questions about anything from today's presentation?
So how can I apply for a PACE program to gain internship?
How can you apply for a PACE internship?
Yeah.
That will depend on the degree that you are studying. So, what degree are you studying?
I'm doing Master of Management.
Masters of Management?
Yes.
So you will, PACE is available to students when they're undergraduates.
Yeah.
However, postgraduate units do have work integrated learning units in them as well. I suggest that what you do is go and have a chat to the course advisor to see which unit you would be able to gain some work integrated learning from.
But my course is for just 1 year, so that's why I cannot get an internship need for my course. So that's why I'm thinking whether I have to do the grade funds. So like during school, like we have maybe 3 months. So during that time, so I want to get an internship. So that's why, how can I apply for an internship?
Okay, so what I would recommend you do is you go and have a look on the careers board. There are paid internships often advertised there. And then I'd also suggest that you might like to send us an email so that we can have a look at your case specifically.
Absolutely. It may also help to book an appointment with us as well, so that we can talk about how to find experience, as well as, since you're here just for the year, how to kind of maximize your time here at Macquarie, so that way you go away with a better idea of what to do while you're studying here.
So you'd make an appointment with a careers advisor, Tyree, yeah?
Absolutely. So you can log into Employability Connect, which is the website I showed earlier, and you can look for the coaching and consults. If you have any questions, I'll be around after today's presentation. I'm happy to walk you through it.
Are there any other questions? Yes?
So I'm in my first year of my accounting degree. I've had a look on the employability and like the careers board. I've noticed a lot of the internships of like final year students. So since I'm my first year, like should I just be focusing on those like other experiences that you were talking about before, or is there like internships and stuff available that would be available for my first year?
Yes, that's a good question. Generally speaking, employers are after students in their final year, and that's because you've got a lot of experience through your degree and you've built up those skill sets. You can I'd still recommend that you still look at those jobs, because there might, a part-time accountancy type job might come up, and it might be a casual role, for example, and that would be something that would be, I think, really useful for you to do.
We had a couple ideas on that as well. So the Forage is perfect for first and second year students, as in those self-paced modules that employers create, because the idea is for you to get a taste of what it's like to work as an accountant for KPMG, or as an accountant for Grant Thornton or something like that. And so, and again, they're only between 3 to 8 hours at the most. So that, as well as LinkedIn Learning, as Angela mentioned, if you're looking at jobs or opportunities, entry-level jobs for accounting, and you're finding that, okay, MYOB or Xero or these other programs, these accounting programs are pretty heavily used. I'm not as familiar with them. I can hop onto LinkedIn Learning and get an idea of how to better utilize them from a beginner's perspective. And so that way, when I am able to apply for internships because I have the coursework to do so, and I'm at the stage where I have a better idea as well on how to use the technical side of what's required for the job. So that goes for anyone else who's just starting their degree. Basically, you want to get experience, get exposure, and just try things. Try virtual experiences. Try hackathons or case study competitions. any competition that allows first, second year students, which are going to be a lot of them, try it out, because that's how you develop an idea, basically, a clue of what you want to do, a better idea, as well as how you develop a career plan to help to fill in the gaps of what you might be missing or what the next steps are in terms of being more competitive within that industry.
Thank you. So I think you should definitely book a career planning session with a career advisor.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, it's not actually the question. How I can communicate with you? It's employability, student employability. What's your address actually? Because I found this workshop in some event that comes to my email, so I don't know. I just click on that and I register here. So if I want to communicate in any issue like employability, so how is there any specific email address for you?
Tell you what, easiest thing to do is scan that QR code there.
Okay.
It's a little bit confusing. So we call our platform Employability Connect, but the web address is Career Hub. Easiest thing to do is scan the QR code. It's going to show you our, start at the top left, or my top left here, our Facebook page, Employability Connect, which is how you can just see what we're up to, advice, ideas. The next one down is our LinkedIn group, Macquarie University Careers and Student Employment Service. And then over from there is the app, Mind Career Zone, with the different colored tiles. And then below that, Employability Connect is what you're speaking of in terms of how to log in, how to book an appointment. So that QR code will take you to a screen which will have different links for each of these four engagement platforms.
Yeah, which is careers, Macquarie Student Employment, PACE, and also Global Leadership Program.
That's a good point. PACE and the GLP are included in Employability Connect. So basically everything here on this banner here, part of our Employability Graduate Success Team, is shown on Employability Connect. The only one that's not is GLP, but there's a link out to the right platform for GLP. Great question, though. Any other questions? Great. Well, we're pretty much at the end, so we will. These are some of the other events coming up as part of the Employable U series. We have an online job searching workshop this Wednesday from 4 to 5 in the afternoon. Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 2, so around lunchtime, we're going to have a pop-up stall in the central courtyard as well for you to come up and ask any question at all, or to further this conversation we've had today. We'll have a feature workshop in this room as well, also delivered from a hybrid way, so online as well as in person, this Friday. Next Monday, we continue the series with breaking down the job ad. This will be a presentation put on by our Student Employment Service, where they're going to show you how to find the bits that are relevant of a job advertisement, and then how to write toward those, like what you should do basically before you write your resume. And you're looking at analyzing a job ad, looking at whether or not you're suitable for the role, taking you through that exercise and how to maybe streamline that process for you so that the application and your resume is stronger because you've done a bit of the work already. And then finally, we have, a bit later on, anyone studying an arts degree here or a double degree involving arts? Or if you're interested in any opportunities within, because the arts industry is quite varied and very versatile. We're having again, hybrid delivery, Your Potential with an Arts Degree panel with Macquarie University alumni and recent graduates as well. That's going to be in the Art Function Center, the Art Precinct, coming up toward the end of the month. The QR code here will take you to every event that we have scheduled on Employable U series as well. That's going to be held on campus, so you can look at everything via the QR code.
So we've got a whole bunch of things happening for the Employable U series. We've got lots and lots of giveaways, so please come by and visit the pop-up stall. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the central courtyard. Can't miss it. And there's a check-in to see whether and enter the weekly draw for $50 voucher. We've got weekly prizes when you attend any Employable U series event or activity, and you just enter that into the weekly draw for a $50 voucher. And then of course there's the major prize, $250, which is pretty nice. But all you need to do is attend at least one Employable U series event activity for 3 or more weeks, and then you'll go into that draw. So hopefully we will see you at least a couple more times during the series.
Already seeing a couple of familiar faces from last week. So that is our presentation for those of you in person and online. Feel free to ask any final questions, otherwise we finished up a little bit early. So I want to thank you for your time, and hopefully you took a lot of useful information out of today's presentation. There's also, again, going to be the recording online on the Employable U schedule, as well as on Employability Connect, in case you want to review it at a later stage. Thank you all.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. So I do a degree in medical science and cognitive brain science, and I think I'm just trying, I'm struggling a bit to find kind of experiences that involve that degree, I guess. And I was just wondering if you guys had any workshops or specific experiences that could involve that degree a little bit more, just because I'm finding it hard to kind of break into something like it. So is there any advice that?
I guess there's a few options that we could talk about, a few places that you could go, but probably best to have more of a one-on-one about that sort of thing. Yeah, great.
I'd say, yeah, book an appointment so that way we could talk about what your career goal is and try with backwards. So what you eventually want to do, and then we could try. So that field is a bit tough because a lot of the practicals you do will be after a certain stage of your coursework, so it's kind of hard getting experience starting out, but we can tell you what's maybe relevant or give you some other ideas on what you could do now that will still be of value.
And we can help you to have a look at building networks in that area as well, because I think for you that would probably be quite key to actually being able to land opportunities. So I think that would also be part of the career advice too.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Anyone else? Any questions?
Thanks again for your time, and best of luck going forward, and please do keep in touch. Hopefully we'll see you again for one of our other activities, so thank you.